All right, ready to set sail on today's deep dive. We're diving into the world of vessel steering instructors thanks to a listener request. You sent over this RoleCatcher guide, and, well, I got to admit, at first glance, I was picturing myself, sunglasses on, teaching someone to sail a yacht on a calm blue ocean. But I have a feeling it's probably not all smooth sailing, is it?
You got it. Open water might be part of the picture, but this RoleCatcher guide, it gets into the nitty-gritty, reveals a role that's as much about safety, technology, all that, as it is about, actual seafaring skills.
But so more than just, here's how you steer a boat.
Way more.
Gotcha. So let's break it down. The guide starts by outlining what vessel steering instructors actually do. And it's not just showing someone how to, steer.
Right.
It's about preparing them to handle a vessel safely no matter what they encounter out there.
Exactly. The guide really emphasizes the responsibility that comes with this job. We're not talking like leisurely sunset cruises here.
No, definitely not.
Think more along the lines of handling emergencies, navigating challenging waters, staying up to date on the latest navigation software, all those digital charting systems.
Wow, see, that's what I wouldn't have thought of. I'm stuck in the old days with the compass and sextant, I guess.
It's a whole different ballgame now.
It is. Okay, so much for my relaxing day on the water fantasy. And speaking of settings, the guide mentions that vessel steering instructors don't just work on boats.
Yeah, you're right. It's surprisingly diverse, actually. Classrooms and maritime schools, simulation labs, those are big, mimicking real-life scenarios. And then, yeah, of course, you get the occasional open water training session.
So you're not always out on the open waves, which I'm sure some people might be surprised to hear.
Definitely not. And it means a good instructor, they got to be adaptable, comfortable in front of a classroom, tech-savvy enough for those simulators.
It's like a teacher, a tech whiz, and a seasoned sailor all in one. That's, talk about a unique combination.
That's the job description right there.
And speaking of skills, the guide also outlines this clear career path. You start as a trainee, you work your way up, assistant instructor, then instructor, and finally senior instructor. Thought that was interesting how they laid it out.
Yeah, and I love how they actually provide those sample profiles for each stage, It's like you get a sneak peek into your potential future.
This is what I could be doing in 5 years, 10 years.
Exactly. And at the senior instructor level, you're not just teaching anymore, you're evaluating and actually improving the assessment methods used to train other instructors.
Wow. I didn't realize senior instructors had that level of kind of influence over the whole field. So they're shaping how people learn to teach this.
They have a huge impact. Yeah.
That's fascinating. That's a whole other layer I wouldn't have considered. But let's be honest, every job has its ups and downs, right? What did the guide highlight as the perks and maybe not so perks of this career path?
Well, I mean, the obvious perks are the ones you already mentioned. Travel, working in different environments, being out on the water.
Sure.
But it also emphasizes the rewarding feeling of sharing your knowledge, your passion with others. You're not just teaching a skill. It's like you're potentially inspiring someone to really fall in love with the water.
That's a really good point. For the right person, that kind of impact, that could be huge.
Yeah.
Of course, no job is perfect. The guide does mention the long and sometimes irregular hours as a potential downside.
Yeah.
For sure. Those unpredictable schedules, I can definitely relate. It's not for everyone.
Right. But like you were saying, it's all about finding that fit. For someone who maybe likes to, thrives on a little spontaneity in their day-to-day.
Yeah.
Those irregular hours might actually be a plus, right? Not your average 9 to 5, for sure.
Trading the cubicle for a sunrise over the water, I can see the appeal for the right person.
Exactly. And speaking of appealing, one thing I really appreciated about this RoleCatcher guide, they don't just lay out the job description, they actually help you prepare for the interview process, which I thought was smart.
Oh yeah, that interview prep section, right? With the sample interview question.
Yes. That's the one.
It's like having a cheat sheet for the most nerve-wracking part of the job hunt.
Totally.
I was really struck by this one question they asked. How do you tailor your teaching approach to different types of learners?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That really makes you think, right?
It does. And it gets at something so important about being a good instructor in any field. You need more than just the expertise, right? You need that empathy, that ability to adapt.
Yeah.
Some students are visual learners. Some people need that hands-on experience to really get it.
For sure.
And a good instructor can recognize those different styles and adjust. That's what sets them apart.
Absolutely. And it's smart that RoleCatcher includes stuff like that in their guides.
Totally.
Shows how thorough they're being.
Yeah.
They're not just throwing information at you. They're actually giving you the tools to succeed.
Exactly. It's like having a career coach in your pocket, almost.
I like that. And speaking of coaching, this whole deep dive has been really eye-opening for me.
Yeah.
I went from picturing myself, sipping lemonade on a yacht
Right?
to realizing, okay, this is a challenging but potentially really rewarding career.
And that's what's so great about these guides, right? You
Yeah.
get the full picture, the good, the challenging, all of it.
Yeah, no sugarcoating.
Exactly. It's about understanding the whole thing, not just the romanticized version.
Absolutely. And this guide, it definitely does that.
Right.
But you know what's even cooler? This is just one of so many guides on RoleCatcher.
It's true. They've got a ton.
That's like a gold mine
Yeah.
for anyone who's, exploring careers, trying to figure out their next move.
Yeah.
So after this deep dive into, the world of vessel steering instruction, what's really sticking with you? What was the most interesting part for you?
I think for me, it's that whole thing about technology changing the game. Like we talk about instructors needing to be fluent in digital charting, simulation software, all that.
Yeah.
It really highlights how this field is evolving. It's not just about what you know about boats anymore.
Right. It's a good reminder that even professions we think of as like traditional, they're being shaped by technology in ways we might not even realize.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, like, how will these trends continue to impact this role in the future? Will AI, will automation in vessel operation, will that make human instructors obsolete?
Good question.
Or will it push them to become even more specialized?
Right, yeah. Will they need to focus more on things like, I don't know, nuanced decision making?
Yeah.
The kinds of things that humans still excel at.
Yeah, or like risk assessment and unpredictable situations, emergency response, all of that.
It's kind of mind-blowing to think about, honestly. All the different directions this could go in. And I think that's something we've touched on throughout this whole deep dive. No matter what career path you're on, it's crucial to consider not just what the job is today, but how it might change in the future.
100%. We can't predict the future, but we can definitely try to, like, equip ourselves with the knowledge and the resources to navigate it.
Absolutely. And based on what we've seen today, RoleCatcher seems like a pretty amazing tool to have in your arsenal for that.
I would have to agree. It's really impressive, the depth of information they provide.
Yeah, they're not messing around.
Yeah.
So to our listener, as you continue on your own career journey, just remember, the world of work is constantly changing, right? Don't be afraid to embrace new technologies. Keep honing those skills and never stop exploring. Who knows? Maybe a career as a vessel steering instructor is out there waiting for you. Or something even more unexpected.
That's the beauty of it, right? You never know what you'll discover. Sometimes the most rewarding paths are the ones we least expect.
That's a great point to end on, I think. So for today's deep dive, that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us as we navigated the ins and outs of becoming a vessel steering instructor. And until next time, happy sailing.